there's nothing scarier or perhaps more fun than a good ghost story. So I decided to start my supernatural search right here at DeBary Hall Historic Site. This place just oozes history. Before we get started on our ghost hunting adventure, let's take a look at the history of this fabulous historic site. Way back in 1871, a champagne merchant by the name of Frederick DeBary built this mansion near the shores of Lake Monroe. DeBary tried his hand at steamboating and orange growing, but mainly his estate became a center of sport hunting and hospitality for his family and friends. He entertained President U.S. Grant, President Grover Cleveland, and even the Prince of Wales, who went on to become King Edward VII. After Frederick's death, the estate eventually passed on to his grandchildren, Adolph and Laney. They both met with untimely and gruesome deaths, but more about that later. So with all these great ghostly candidates, which one do you think is haunting DeBary Hall? My money's on Laney. Let's find out, shall we? Now, I'm a little bit afraid of ghosts, so I brought some protection. I have it on good authority that ghosts are terrified of these little green balls. So let's go. Tracy Mester, the site manager, is expecting us. She's going to love my costume.
Welcome to DeBary Hall, Pat. Why do you dress like that?
Well, I just wanted to fit in with all the ghosts here, so I brought the video guy so we can check out the rumors that DeBary Hall is haunted. Is it safe for us to come in?
You're not going to find any malevolent spirits here.
Oh, good. So it's more like Casper than the Bride of Chucky?
I guess you could say that.
This is big. This is really big. We're definitely going to find something here.
Come on into the library, Pat. This is where Frederick DeBary spent much of his time relaxing with his dogs. And this is a portrait of his great-granddaughter, Laney.
Oh, she's beautiful.
And over here, this is the piano very much like the one that her grandmother used to play when they were visiting here. And I'll tell you a strange story. One time, when the former manager and I were battening down the hatches for a hurricane, we were standing in this very room and saw several of the piano keys go off.
Whoa!
Strange, right? Probably something to do with the storm.
I think it was a ghost.
This is Lisa Perez, our education coordinator.
Oh boy, hi Lisa.
Hi Pat, it's so nice to meet you.
Yes, you too. So do you have some more cool ghost stories to share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Come with us. Pat, behave yourself.
Now Pat, keep in mind, this home is 150 years old, so it does creak and groan. However, in the 1970s, an Orlando Sentinel reporter named Dorothy Magley held a seance here. She reported that the attendees had supernatural experiences. There were cold drafts. The table would tap yes and no answers. The table lifted, flew across the room, and pinned the hostess against the wall. Now that hostess was named Ann Gaiman. Miss Gaiman was a nationally recognized psychic, and she said that night an unearthly being told her that this place would once be restored to its original grandeur, and visitors would come, which is strange because this place wasn't restored till the early 2000s.
Holy cow!
All right, Pat, we're about to go upstairs. But don't worry, I've worked here for about 2 years and I've yet to experience anything that I can't explain. But I know that you're interested in hearing some spooky stories. So there's this great book by Jack Powell called Haunting Sunshine that recounts a few previous employees' peculiar experiences. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and head on up.
You bet.
All right. So Pat, a couple years ago, there was a Volusia County Parks and Recreation employee that was working on the grounds, trimming all of the trees, and he looked up and he saw a teenage girl in the second-story window, and she was wearing this long, dark coat, as dark as her hair, and she was pacing back and forth between the rooms. He could see her in the window until all of a sudden, she vanished.
No kidding.
I know. So then, a couple days later, he was back on the grounds. And he was talking to one of the employees here at the DeBary Hall, and they came upstairs and checked the rooms, and they looked in all the closets, and they were really stunned when they opened one of the closet doors and they found the jacket in there and couldn't explain. Oh, Pip! That's not supposed to be there. We should get out of here.
So Pat, this is the master bedroom. And as you mentioned earlier, when Frederick passed away, the estate eventually went to his great-grandchildren, Laney and Adolph Jr. Sadly, Adolph Jr. was killed at the young age of 23. He was a recent Harvard graduate. He was on his way home from New York, and he stopped at a roadside cafe to get a sandwich. He was struck down crossing the street.
Oh no.
He only lived about 4 hours after the crash. So after his death, this estate went to Laney. Let me show you her dressing room.
I'm sticking with you. So, is this Laney?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. In fact, you might say she's hauntingly beautiful.
So Laney was Frederick DeBary's great-granddaughter and the last family member to enjoy the grounds here at the winter hunting estate. And unfortunately, the story of Laney's passing is a very sad one. Both her and her husband, Benjamin Brewster, were accomplished pilots. And one day in May of 1941, despite warnings of an impending storm, they boarded their plane in Long Island and took off heading towards Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, they ran into that storm and it was too late to turn around. They crashed into the side of Shade Mountain. The death certificate lists a fractured skull and internal injuries and instant death. Neither her or her husband survived the flight.
Oh, how dreadful.
She was just 31 at the time and had no children, and that ended the DeBary line here.
So, do you think she's the one who's haunting DeBary Hall?
Well, Pat, I'm not sure if we have any spirits lurking around here, but if we do, I'm sure they're friendly ones, because this was really a place for rest and relaxation.
I wanted a ghost. We didn't actually see any ghosts today, but I believe they're here, just waiting for an unsuspecting visitor. Now, if you're a ghost hunter like me, or if you just want to take a stroll through history, plan a day trip to DeBary Hall. It's open every day but Monday. I'm Pat Kuhn.